The Galactic Council chamber was a sight few humans had ever imagined. Towering columns of alien metal stretched from floor to ceiling, glowing with soft pulses of light that seemed almost alive. Thousands of delegates from hundreds of species filled the vast hall, their bodies and features unlike anything seen on Earth. Some had translucent skin that shimmered like liquid. Others had multiple limbs or eyes arranged in patterns that made humans dizzy just to look at them. All of them had gathered for a single purpose: to discuss the fate of a newly discovered planet rich in rare energy crystals. A planet that promised enormous power to whoever controlled it. Among the sea of creatures, Marcus Hale stood quietly in his corner. He was the sole human diplomat representing Earth. The Council had underestimated him, assuming that humans were small, fragile, and politically inexperienced. Most had whispered about him behind his back, calling him naive and inconsequential. Marcus had expected this. He had spent years preparing for this moment, knowing that humans had little room for error in the eyes of the galaxy. He observed the room carefully, reading expressions, movements, and subtle gestures that other species might miss. The debate had already begun when Marcus arrived. A massive alien known as a Vorathi ambassador was speaking, its voice deep and resonant, vibrating through the chamber in a way that made even the tallest delegates lean forward. "This planet," it said, its four eyes narrowing on Marcus as if seeing straight through him, "belongs to the Vorathi Empire. Any claims from smaller, weaker species are meaningless. Humanity is young, inexperienced, and entirely irrelevant in this matter." A ripple of laughter echoed through the chamber. Several delegates from other species nodded in agreement. Marcus felt a tight knot of tension in his stomach, but he remained calm. He knew this moment was crucial. If humans appeared weak, the galaxy would never take them seriously. He raised his hand politely, signaling that he wished to speak. The moderator of the council, a creature with 6 delicate wings that fluttered in the air like ribbons, granted him permission. Marcus took a deep breath and began. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," he said, his voice steady and clear. "Earth has watched the galaxy for centuries. We are aware of your histories, your technologies, and your conflicts. We understand that this planet is valuable. But humanity does not intend to be ignored. We seek fair negotiation, not dominance. Yet we also will not allow threats against our home to go unanswered." The chamber fell silent. The Vorathi ambassador's 4 eyes widened slightly, a rare sign of surprise among its kind. Murmurs filled the room. Humans had been expected to retreat, to beg for mercy. Yet Marcus had spoken boldly and without fear. "You speak boldly for such a fragile species," the Vorathi said, its voice a rumble that made the floor beneath Marcus feel like it was vibrating. "Do you understand the forces you are challenging? Do you not fear the consequences of defying the Council and the Empire?" Marcus smiled faintly, though his heart beat faster than he admitted. "We understand the risks, and we also understand the value of life, of strategy, and of courage. Humanity does not intend to start a war, but if war is brought to us, we will meet it with all the tools, intelligence, and determination we possess." The Vorathi ambassador snorted, a sound like rocks grinding together. "And what can humans possibly do against us? You are untested. You are weak. You cannot even match the smallest of our fleets." Marcus had anticipated this reaction. That was why he had not come empty-handed. He had spent months coordinating with Earth's Defense Command in secret. Hidden deep within asteroid belts near the disputed planet were human stealth ships, advanced warships that could rival the fleets of even the most powerful empires. These ships were equipped with energy weapons and maneuvering systems the Council had never seen before. Marcus remained calm as he continued. Perhaps we are young and untested. But sometimes strength is not measured by size alone. Sometimes it is measured by intelligence, by innovation, and by the will to survive. Humanity has faced dangers greater than you can imagine, and yet we endure, we adapt, we overcome. The room was tense. Some delegates whispered in excitement, others in disbelief. Marcus could feel the attention of every species in the chamber. He knew that this was the turning point. He had to make the Council see that humans could not be ignored, even if they appeared small and insignificant. He paused, letting his words sink in. Then he added, "We are ready to defend Earth and our interests. And if the Council does not recognize our rights and sovereignty, humanity will act independently. We will do what is necessary to ensure our survival." A shocked silence followed. Many had never heard a human speak with such confidence, much less openly threaten to take action. The Vorathi ambassador's eyes narrowed and its four limbs twitched nervously. Other delegates began whispering to each other, their voices a mixture of awe and fear. One of the council moderators, a shimmering being with no fixed shape, raised a tentacle and spoke. Diplomat Marcus, your words are unprecedented. Such a declaration is not taken lightly in the council. Are you truly prepared to carry out these threats? Marcus looked directly at the moderator. Yes, humanity is prepared, but we prefer negotiation. We prefer peace. We prefer respect. Threats and dismissals will not work with us. We will respond to aggression, but we hope it will not come to that. The chamber erupted into debate. Delegates shouted, argued, and gestured in ways that humans could barely comprehend. Marcus stood firm, his gaze unwavering. Behind him, unseen by the council, the first human stealth ships moved into position near the disputed planet. Their presence was hidden, but it sent a clear signal. Humans were no longer defenseless. Hours passed and the debate grew more heated. Some species began to support Marcus openly, impressed by his courage and intelligence. Others still laughed, unable to believe that a single human could stand against centuries of galactic power. During a recess, Marcus retreated to a small private room within the council chamber. He contacted Earth's Defense Command through a secure channel. All ships in position? He asked. Affirmative, came the reply. The fleets are ready. They will follow your orders. Marcus nodded even though no one could see him. Good, remember, we are not seeking war, but we will not back down. He ended the communication and took a moment to look out of a window at the galaxy beyond. Stars stretched into infinity, and the disputed planet glowed faintly in the distance, a jewel of energy and potential. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders, but he also felt a strange sense of pride. Humanity had come a long way, and now the galaxy would have to see it. When the council reconvened, Marcus returned to his position. The Vorathi ambassador glared at him, its multiple limbs trembling slightly with suppressed anger. Marcus did not flinch. I have a proposal, he began, his voice steady. We do not need to fight to prove our strength. We can demonstrate our capabilities and our value to the galaxy in a controlled manner. Let us settle this through a challenge of skill, strategy, and intelligence. If humanity succeeds, we gain a voice in this council and a share in the planet's stewardship. If we fail, we will respect the council's decision. The chamber was stunned. No species had ever suggested such a challenge before. Some whispered that Marcus was foolish. Others nodded in cautious agreement. The Vorathi ambassador hissed, but could not outright refuse without appearing weak. Marcus continued, outlining the parameters of the challenge. It would involve simulations, strategic maneuvers, and tests of resourcefulness. The galaxy would witness firsthand what humans were capable of without bloodshed. The council reluctantly agreed. The chamber buzzed with tension, excitement, and disbelief. Marcus had taken a bold step, and the galaxy had no choice but to pay attention. As he left the chamber that day, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. The humans' position in the galaxy was changing. They were no longer seen as fragile or irrelevant. They were clever, brave, and unyielding. And the first true test of their abilities was about to begin. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Somewhere in the darkness, human ships waited silently. The galaxy did not yet know what was coming, but it would soon learn that humans could not be underestimated. Marcus's voice echoed in his own mind as he prepared for the next phase. We are humanity. We endure, we adapt, we overcome. The council had been stunned once. Marcus knew it would not be the last time. The chamber of the Galactic Council was alive with whispers and murmurs when Marcus Hale returned the next day. Every delegate's eyes were on him. Some stared with curiosity, others with disbelief, and a few with clear concern. The challenge he had proposed, a contest of intelligence, strategy, and skill, was unprecedented. Never before had a species dared to present such terms to the council, let alone a human. The air was thick with tension. Marcus's first step was to explain the format. We will use holographic simulations to demonstrate fleet maneuvers, resource allocation, and strategic decision-making, he said. Each participant will present their plan for the planet. The simulation will then show how well each plan succeeds under unpredictable conditions. His voice was calm, but every word carried authority. The Vorathi ambassador's four eyes narrowed. And you expect us to accept such a trial? You are untested. You rely on chance, not experience. Marcus shook his head. This is not chance. This is intelligence, creativity, and adaptability, qualities humans have mastered for millennia. You will see. Delegates hesitated, then slowly agreed. The simulation chamber was immense, a sphere of light and data floating in the center of the council's hall. Holographic fleets materialized before them, shimmering starships, energy flows, asteroid fields, and invisible hazards. Marcus stepped forward first. His strategy was unlike anything the aliens had seen. While other species relied on brute force, overwhelming numbers, or predictable maneuvers, Marcus deployed a combination of misdirection and innovation. He split his forces into smaller groups, each acting independently but in perfect coordination. Human ships would feint attacks in one sector, while secretly taking advantage of the weakest point in another. Energy beams were redirected with precise timing, creating illusions that confused even the most advanced alien sensors. The simulation began. Marcus's strategy unfolded flawlessly. Alien fleets followed their instincts, charging where they believed humans were weakest. Marcus's feints worked perfectly. Each move of the human fleet was calculated, anticipating alien reactions. The Varathi ships, despite their size and power, became trapped in complex patterns of energy and movement. Whispers grew louder. Delegates could not believe their eyes. Humans were not just surviving. They were dominating the simulation without using raw power. Their ingenuity and adaptability were on full display. Some smaller species cheered quietly, realizing that humans might finally become valuable allies. The Varathi ambassador's face darkened, though Marcus could not read every emotion in its alien features. It hissed under its breath, and the simulation continued. The humans' strategies adapted in real time. When the aliens tried a new tactic, Marcus adjusted instantly, rerouting energy, repositioning ships, and exploiting weaknesses that no other species had noticed. By the end of the simulation, the human fleet stood victorious. Silence fell. No one moved or spoke for several seconds. Then a delegate from the winged Sarathi species clapped slowly. Incredible, it said. Humans? They think in ways we cannot anticipate. They are brilliant. Other species began to murmur their approval. The Varathi ambassador's voice trembled slightly as it spoke. This cannot be. They should not be capable of such strategy. No inexperienced species could succeed like this. Marcus remained composed. Experience is valuable, he said. But creativity, adaptability, and courage are just as important. Humans may be young in the galaxy, but we are resilient. We survive because we do not rely solely on what we have been taught. We think, we learn, we adapt. The council convened an emergency vote to determine the outcome. The results were clear. The humans had earned not just respect but recognition. For the first time, humanity would have a voice in the council. The disputed planet would be shared, with Earth having a significant stake, alongside smaller species that had supported the humans. The Varathi were forced to accept the outcome, their arrogance tempered by undeniable proof of human ingenuity. Outside the council chamber, Marcus could see the human fleet moving silently in the shadows of space. No one else had seen them yet, but they were ready. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and now they understood that humans were not easily defeated. The victory was not just political, it was cultural. News spread across the stars. Alien media, once dismissive of humans, now reported stories of their cleverness and courage. Humans were no longer seen as fragile newcomers. They were becoming a species to respect and even fear in strategic terms. Marcus's calm demeanor, intelligence, and boldness had shifted perceptions forever. Even within the council, the ripple effect was noticeable. Smaller species approached humans with proposals for trade, alliances, and cooperation. Larger species, while still wary, treated humanity with a newfound caution. The galaxy had learned a simple truth. Humans might be underestimated, but they could not be ignored. Marcus did not let pride cloud his judgment. He knew the challenge had revealed only a fraction of what humanity could do. The real test was survival in the unpredictable galaxy, facing threats far greater than simulations could replicate. Yet this victory had given humans a platform, a voice, and, most importantly, allies. In private, Marcus reflected on the events of the past days. The council had been stunned by a human's declaration and now by a human's brilliance. He understood that diplomacy and war were not separate, they were intertwined. Courage in one domain could open doors in another. By daring to stand boldly and think differently, Humans had secured a future in a galaxy that had never believed in them. Months passed after the Council's decision. Humans established research bases on the disputed planet, exploring its rare energy crystals. They developed new technologies and shared knowledge selectively with allies. Human diplomats continued to attend council meetings, now with greater influence. The perception of humans shifted from fragile to formidable, from naive to cunning. Every species that had once laughed at humanity now spoke in careful, measured tones. The Varathi, still bitter, monitored human progress closely. They could not forget the day a single human had challenged the council and proved them wrong. The humiliation lingered, but it also reminded the galaxy that even the smallest species could become a force to be reckoned with. For Marcus, the real victory was the awakening of humanity's confidence. Humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and creativity could level the playing field in a universe that favored size, experience, and technology. The galaxy had taken notice, and humanity would continue to rise. One evening, as Marcus stood on a balcony overlooking the city that had sprung up on the planet, he looked up at the stars. Ships glimmered in the distance, both human and alien. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges, and filled with species that often underestimated humans. But Marcus felt a surge of pride. Humanity had entered the galactic stage boldly, without fear, and with a voice that demanded respect. He whispered quietly, more to himself than anyone else. We are humanity. We endure, we adapt, we overcome, and this is only the beginning. The stars seemed to shimmer in response, a silent acknowledgement of the presence of a species that refused to be ignored. Across the galaxy, others would take note of humans, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with caution, but always with awareness. Humans had arrived, and the Council and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. Marcus turned back to the city below, knowing the path ahead would be difficult. New threats would appear, rival empires would challenge humans, and the galaxy would continue to test their resolve. But now humanity had a foundation, allies, and the undeniable proof that they could succeed against even the most formidable opponents. For the first time in galactic history, humans had not just survived, they had commanded respect. And Marcus Hale, with his quiet confidence and bold action, had become the symbol of a new era, an era where humanity would no longer be underestimated. The Council had been stunned twice, but Marcus knew it would not be the last time. The galaxy was wide, unpredictable, and full of opportunities, and humanity was ready for whatever came next. As he walked back into the Council chambers, ready for the next discussion, Marcus felt a deep sense of purpose. The challenge had ended, but the real journey, humanity's place among the stars, was just beginning. The galaxy had witnessed human courage, intelligence, and strategy. From this moment onward, humans would always be counted, always be respected, and never again dismissed. And somewhere beyond the distant stars, Marcus knew other civilizations were already watching, curious to see what humans would do next. They had learned a lesson the hard way: never underestimate the human spirit.